Hello and welcome to another episode of R&R's Ask the Expert. I'm Kayla McGowan, editor-in-chief, and today we're diving into smarter marketing with AI and Google Ads. Our special guest is Sonny Ahuja, founder of Kill It Online, and he also just created CAS. He'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a second. He has 15 years of experience in Google Ads, SEO, and paid social. He specializes in restoration, HVAC, and other service industries. Sunny partners with franchises to scale leads, reduce costs, and help owners reclaim their time without sacrificing ROI. Please welcome Sunny.
Hey Kayla, how are you?
Good. How are you? Happy to have you on. We just saw each other a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about all of this, and now we get to share it with the industry. I'm so excited. Thank you for taking the time to come on Ask the Expert.
Of course, and I'm honored to be here. Always good to meet you guys in Vegas at the conference. But yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. Let's
Yeah,
get going.
Yeah, we get to talk about all things Kill It Online and CAS. CAS is your newest creation. So can you kind of tell us what CAS is and how does AI-powered call answering improve lead capture for our industry in particular?
Sure, sure. So CAS, the full form is Keep Appointments Simple. That's what CAS stands for. And my 17-year-old son came up with that name and the acronym. But what it is so statistically, 61% of the calls to local businesses do not get answered. Now, we've been running Google ad campaigns or SEO campaigns for businesses for about 15 years, a little over 15 years now. And since we run Google Ads campaigns or we manage them, we also record calls of our clients. That's the only way we can find out if a certain strategy is working for them or not, a certain campaign is working for them or not. And so we record calls. I've been listening to these calls for 15 years. I must have heard thousands and thousands, if not hundreds and thousands of those calls. So, um, one, 61% of the calls never get answered to begin with. The other, 39%, half of them pretty much go to voicemails. Um, and the other half never get answered, which means businesses get calls, the phone keeps ringing, and there's no voicemail, there's no one answering. And so what Cass does, here's what happens. A business can do different kinds of marketing to get leads. You might do Google ads, search engine marketing, social media marketing, radio ads, television, local magazines, Valpak coupons, whatever it is you do. When people go to your website, when you get visitors to your site, and if they call and no one answers that call, then you're pretty much leaving money on the table. You're losing leads. It's not at that point that your marketing is not working, something in-house is not working. So what CAS does is it's AI-powered virtual receptionist, or I should say AI-powered receptionist which answers calls 24/7, 365. And it can be customized to every business. It can be customized with the pricing. It can be customized with FAQs. It can be customized with different timings, services, and so on and so forth. So the idea here is to answer every single call perfectly 24/7, 365.
Yeah, and she does a really great job throughout the entire process. I thankfully was able to test CAS.
You tested
I
it.
and I tested it with R&R Mag and it was great. It was a great experience. It was very interactive. She had a very welcoming and calming tone. She doesn't get mad, she doesn't get frustrated. She validates any questions or concerns you have. So it was a really great experience. And I think you and I were talking before we started filming. This is the way of the future to help free up our teams, but also not lose out on those leads, right? It's interesting, 61%, that's a lot, right? I
That's a
think
huge number.
it's a
Huge
huge
number.
number. And then you mentioned voicemails, right? If they leave a voicemail, because how many times do customers just get frustrated and they say, I'm not going to leave a voicemail, they're not going to call me back, right? Even if they've never experienced you calling back or not, they hang up, right? People don't like to leave voicemails anymore for whatever reason. So, you know, CAS allows you not to miss out on all of these opportunities, which is huge. And if you haven't heard of CAS, now you have. So you need to talk to Sunny about it because it's a really great opportunity to test in real time. You don't have to wait, right? Um, and it also allows you to make sure you're capturing all the information. That's one thing that I really appreciated because you and I talked about this a little bit ago. You simply cannot write fast enough or type fast enough when you're talking to somebody on the phone who's having a sense of emergency or they're
Yeah.
frustrated or they don't know what's going on, how it's going to be fixed. And they're talking fast generally, right? And so CAS captures everything. And it's really cool to see how far we've come and the way we can leverage AI. So, now we know a little bit about CAS. We also mentioned we're going to talk about Google Ads. So I think some people still get a little confused or frustrated with Google Ads because they don't really understand how they're supposed to work. So why is ad strategy more important than ad spend when it comes to Google Ads?
Great question, Kayla. So I don't blame those people who are not able to keep up with Google's changes because Google continues to change its the way you run ads. I guess on a weekly basis, if not daily basis. Uh, 15 years ago or 18 years ago, when I first started with Google Ads, it was simple, straightforward way to run ads. Now everything is technical, everything is more advanced. Uh, some of the strategies are powered by AI, but then does AI really understand your business? Probably not. So it can get difficult for businesses to run ads on Google now. Um, and you bring up a great point that ad spend, ad strategy is more important than ad spend. So previously, we would run Google ad campaigns, maybe with one or two strategies. For example, we would run campaigns with exact match or phrase match keywords, manual CPC, and that's it. Now you can run campaigns in many different ways with many different strategies, powered by AI. Google recommends to run campaigns in broad match. The thing about broad match is a lot of money goes down the drain if you're not monitoring your campaign. Um, so, so if the campaigns that you run and if the landing pages where you're driving traffic to do not convert are not conversion friendly, you can spend all the money you want. You can spend $10,000, $20,000 a month on your Google ad campaigns. If the conversion rates are not there, if it's not converting, then at that point you're just losing money. At that point, it doesn't matter what your ad spend is, could be $50,000 a month. So it's the strategy that really should be effective, that brings you qualified leads. You drive qualified traffic to your landing pages that converts. And once you have figured that out, once you've nailed it, then of course you can increase your ad spend uh, based on your cost per leads. You can continue increasing and scaling your business.
Yeah, and I would definitely say too, to your point, it's changed so much in the last 15 to 20 years, but I really think we've seen a lot of change in the last 2 to 3 years. And it's really hard to keep up with Google and their changes, right? Now they have focus on the Google My Business profile where maybe it wasn't there so much before, and people are like, what the heck is a Google My Business profile, right? And so now you have all of these layers, which is really interesting to see because again, it all goes back to strategy. Strategy is the most important thing. You can always implement more money into your budget, but if the strategy isn't there, to your point, it honestly, you're kind of just wasting your money at that point, right? So this kind of brings me to my next question because there is a lack of understanding or maybe time to dedicate to Google Ads itself. What are some of the most common mistakes that restoration businesses are currently making with Google Ads, and how can they fix them?
Um, it's another great question. So I have analyzed or audited um, thousands of Google ad accounts in the past 15 years. I did one last week. I've done a few since we came back from the Vegas conference. One of the biggest mistakes that I see business owners make is they do not keep up with the search terms and they do not update the negative keywords on a daily basis or on a regular basis, which is where they lose a ton of money. I recently analyzed a campaign, an account last week actually, where 70 to 75% of all the ad spend was going down the drain because the campaigns were getting clicks in irrelevant search terms, completely irrelevant. And that's because the negative keywords probably were not updated in last 6 months. So that's one of the biggest things where businesses should update the negative keywords on a regular basis. Google now recommends running campaigns in broad match. When you set up a campaign, Google will say, again, the recommendation is broad match. Recommendation is maximize clicks or maximize conversions. But in order to run those effectively, you must have your call tracking system, your GA4, your landing pages, the platform, the third-party tool that you use for answering calls, all integrated with each other. Google can only bring you more conversions if Google can track conversions. And for Google to track conversions can only happen if you have everything that is required integrated with Google Ads. So I see campaigns being run with the TCPA or max conversion strategies, but there's no conversion tracking in the campaign or in the ad account. How will Google do that? So some of these strategies that Google recommends are good, but you need to have everything in place to run them.
Yeah, and I would definitely say too, there are a lot of variables that go into Google Ads that you just mentioned that are extremely important. And honestly, I remember in a previous position where we met and talked about our Google Ads and spends every week. I mean, it was every Monday at a certain time where we went through all of the terms, everything. And the reason was is because it's such a fast changing and evolving landscape, you have to keep up. Um, you need to make sure that your pages and your links aren't broken either. I think that's a lot of what is missed as well. You see it more often, but I would definitely say just things that you would really not think about do contribute to Google Ads and even just leads in general, right? Social media as well. If you put an ad out there and it goes to a broken link, well, you know,
Yeah.
not checking it, how are you supposed to know? And that's a lot of lost money there. So, we've kind of tackled CAS and Google Ads. Let's now kind of pivot and talk about how AI and automation help restoration businesses respond faster and convert more leads, which CAS is one of them, Google is another. How important is AI and automation at this time in our industry?
Well, so I'll tell you what. Besides answering calls um, perfectly every single time, 24/7, the second thing that most local businesses are not able to keep up with is with getting reviews on their, let's say, Google Business Profile or Facebook, wherever they'd like to get reviews. We have clients who have maybe 10,000 customers for their cleaning and restoration business, but maybe 150 Google reviews because they never really um, created a system that would make their system reach out to the customers to get reviews. So with AI now, first thing first, calls can be answered by AI 24/7. They can be routed by AI. AI can handle the pricing, the FAQs, and so on. The second big thing is AI can also follow up with your customers to get reviews, which is where businesses lag behind. So more reviews means more leads because it increases your Google rankings. So that's another thing. AI can schedule appointments on your calendar. So if you provide cleaning services, if you provide duct cleaning service, carpet cleaning service, and someone calls after hours, or even during business hours, and you're not able to answer those calls, AI can talk to that person and schedule, with that person. Okay, next Tuesday, 3 o'clock, we'll be at your house. So they can schedule an appointment with your potential customers. So again, that's huge. AI can follow up with your leads and customers via text, via phone calls, and via email. So a lot of that communication gap that happens between businesses and their customers can now be tackled by AI. Then, of course, there are Google campaigns that are also powered by AI, like Performance Max campaigns, which, if done right, can bring your cost per lead to less than half than what you would be paying on search campaigns. So it reduces the cost per lead, increases your conversion rates, gets more reviews, answer calls, chats on your website, and there's a whole lot more that AI can help you with. Get more leads, retain customers, and follow up with them.
Yeah, and I would definitely say AI and automation work well together as well, right? Which is really great because you can still run campaigns and AI can still do a lot of the heavy lifting, which is really nice to see because then again, I think we mentioned this at the beginning, you're able to take your teams and utilize them more efficiently and effectively than you would if they were spending their time on the phone or, writing down notes or whatever the case may be. Now you're able to maximize your staff's skill set, right? And that's what this is all about. We were able to help more people, which makes everything so much better, but also maximizing your return on your Google ads and just, even your call-ins. That's huge at the end of the day. So we've kind of talked about everything, but I really want to make sure that we're able to share some instances where you saw success with CAS and Google Ads and it helped your clients grow a huge amount. So can you share some examples of some success stories with CAS and Google Ads for us?
Sure, sure. With Google Ads, we drive relevant traffic to, let's say, website. Um, and based on the kind of campaigns we are running for our clients, based on the services they provide, this is something we've been doing for 15 years. So using relevant search phrases, keeping up with the negative keywords, the correct area, the right time of the day of the week, when you start tracking conversions and you see, hey, Mondays our cost per lead is half of what we would pay on a Wednesday, then maybe you want to move more budget on a Monday than Wednesday. If you see Sundays, we get clicks, but we don't get any calls, well, you could stop running campaigns on Sundays and move everything to a Monday if Monday brings you more leads, and so on and so forth. So, Google Ads, when you see the data, you're able to optimize campaigns based on the data coming in, day of the week, hour of the day, and so on. When it comes to CAS, which is answering calls now for our clients. So I'll give you an example. We have a client for who we drive, traffic from Google, from SEO and PPC campaigns. The way they use AI receptionists is during the day, they want to answer calls themselves in the office. But after hours, if it's a call related to an emergency service, like water damage related call, then AI says, so if so when someone calls our client, AI says, hey, this is Cass. Is this call related to a water emergency, mold, or one of our cleaning services? Because our client provides water and fire restoration, mold removal, and then a few cleaning services like carpet cleaning, air duct cleaning, and so on. So when AI answers and it asks what this call is about, if a person says, hey, this is about anything related to water, so they might say, I see a leak in my house, the sink is overflowing, there's flood in the basement. AI picks up on that, and AI would then say, please hold, this sounds like an emergency. Let us transfer the call to a certified expert right away. And so AI will transfer the call to our client because he wants to handle all calls related to emergency himself. If the person says, I think I have some mold in my house, or I see something green, or anything related to mold, then AI will say, uh, okay, let me get your details. I'll forward them to a certified specialist, and they will get back to you within 2 hours. Again, that's customized for this business. And if the person says, hey, I'm interested in your carpet cleaning services, or I want to talk about air duct cleaning, then the AI receptionist says, or Cass says, let me get your details, and one of our specialists will get back to you during business hours. So now it depends how this is how one business wants to answer all calls, where they want to still keep a tab on the emergency services, 2 hours for mold, and business hours for cleaning services. We have another client that's they're strictly big on air duct cleaning. So we've put all the prices into AI receptionist. And so when a person calls, um, AI will ask, before we schedule an appointment, let me know what's the size of your property. Based on the square foot, based on the size of the property, AI then can give out prices. So if I say my house is 6,000 square feet, AI might say it'll be whatever. Let's just say $1,800 to clean all the ducts in your house. So AI can give out prices. And if I like the price, I'm like, okay, are you available next Wednesday at 3 o'clock? AI will check the calendar. Yes. Book the appointment, send an alert text to the business owner, to our client. Hey, somebody just called, Dave just called and booked an appointment for next Wednesday for air duct cleaning. Here are the details. Here's the address. AI will send a confirmation to the customer next Wednesday, 3 o'clock confirmed. We will be there. And both get a transcription of their chat as well, the call as well, in an email. So the business owner gets a transcription in the email, and so does the customer. So it's all about the communication during or after hours uh, that AI can literally help clients go.
Yeah, and I would definitely say those are great success stories because you use different examples, right? You can utilize it all the time in your business. You
Yep,
can use it after hours. I think you
yep,
can also utilize it to capture leads coming from Google too, right? So then your
yep.
staff isn't tied up, but they could also, if they needed to intercept that call, they could. So there's a lot that goes on here that is really great for our industry, right? Especially when we're in the really busy season and we just don't have the time to give that TLC to maybe our Google ads or our automations or our phones. Admittedly, sometimes we can't be at our phones, right? That's just the nature of the beast in the industry that we're in. Well, Sunny, thank you so much. I don't have any more questions. Do you have any closing thoughts for everybody listening?
Um, yeah, so one big thing with AI receptionist is these days we get a lot of spam and robocalls. So even with companies that have a receptionist answering calls, AI can filter those calls. So if it's a robocall, if it's a spammer, if it's a tire kicker, AI will filter that and then forward the call to the receptionist. So they utilize their time in a much more effective way. But this is the future. I just called Delta a few minutes ago. I need to get my ticket changed again. And Delta forward me forwarded me to AI chat, AI phone. But AI will help me change my ticket. So it's coming. It's the big companies are already using it. You call any of the Fortune 500 companies, it'll most likely you'll hear AI, and pretty soon it'll be mainstream. So get ready for it.
Yeah, I would definitely say now's the time to capitalize on it before, Sunny is so busy he may need Cass. But I would definitely say, it is the way, right? It also helps reduce your call times. It also helps you actually help more people. So it's a great opportunity to take Sunny up on what he just said. Well, everybody, thank you for watching this episode of Ask the Expert. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.